Hey, Kevin. Good to see you again, virtually.
Hey, likewise.
So we have been knowing each other for several years. Do you want to make a quick intro of yourself? What kind of financial expert you are? What industry?
Yeah, so first of all, I wouldn't call myself an expert, but I met you like when we were at USC doing our masters. After that, so I'm currently working as an EFX trader at a custodian bank in Chicago. Been here for around 3 years, and I'm just like really excited to see like what your agent can do and like how it can start replacing our jobs.
You're very excited to see how agents gonna
Yeah, I
replace.
want to see how my job can be. I want to see how my job can be replaced. So I could probably self-retire, solo exile into Brazil.
What does this mean? Like you trade on foreign exchange currency? What's your day-to-day looking like?
So in foreign currency or FX in short term is that I work in a custodian bank where our bank manages the assets of institutional clients. Institutional clients, which include pension funds, investment firms, etc. Whenever they do an equity trade, let's say they're based in Europe and they want to buy American stock. After they buy that stock, in that T+2 settlement period, they will need the corresponding funds to settle that trade. So for example, if you are a London-based investment firm, you operate on the British pound. But when you buy an American stock like Amazon, for example, you will need US dollars. So after in the T+2 period between you buy the Amazon stock, you need to convert that British pound that you have over to US dollars and settle it. So that is how everything can seamlessly transit on the backside after you finish the trade. And that is kind of what we do over here at my firm, is that we manage a lot of foreign exchange transactions that happen after the corresponding trade. So in an easier term, we manage when clients come over to us asking for prices for multiple different currencies. It's generally around like 20 pairs, Euro GBP to Japanese yen, etc. So we kind of do that day to day for our clients, and we manage a book that provides a bid price and a sell price, which is a buy price and a sell price for the clients. And we try to make money off that.
Sounds like it's a great responsibility.
The money involved is pretty big. So I think that was like one of the concerns of people being against using AI as an oversight perspective. But I think that in terms of the day-to-day functions, a lot of it can be done through automation, and it's something that don't really need that much manual intervention to say.
Oh, interesting. Is it more focused on execution side or is more taking position?
For us, it's more on taking positions. So we try to make money we try to buy high, buy low and sell high. We try to buy low and sell high, right? So that is essentially how we make money over here. Because the spreads are too small. So in terms of the spreads are, the price difference between the buy and the sell, we need the money that we have to deal with is in pretty big numbers. So let's say in a general transaction, it's 1 basis points. So 1 basis points is 100th of 1%. So it means that whenever you trade 1 million US dollars, you only make $100. And that is essentially kind of like a riskless, because we're not taking a position. We are trying to make money off buying low and selling high. So in terms of that, it means that day to day, we deal with around, I would say on my desk specifically, we deal around like $500 million in volume. If you do the math on how much money we make, that is something that has a lot of risk at stake. So we need to manage this with a combination of both AI and human perspective, just in case something goes wrong. We need to like utilize our tools and to be able to to identify the problem.
So what do you think would be like a simplified case, simple enough so that we can test AI, but also representative?
So if I'm trying to think of a simple task, I think, in terms of currency, we can pull the buy and sell prices across 3 different currency pairs for 2 months. And we ask the agent to summarize it and find some solutions for us on, how we can better optimize our trading or what takeaways we can get from your summaries.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's do it. Okay, let's look at our input first, right? What does this mean, Kevin?
So essentially, this is 2 weeks. Every 15 seconds, I requested it to generate a raw file for me to create a synthetic bid and ask price, which is essentially a buy and sell price every 15 seconds for 2 weeks. So the first column will be time, as obviously as it is. The second column is currency pair. So there's 3 currency pairs in total: GBP, which is British pounds, and Japanese yen. Our base currency over here is US dollars, so which means that every pair, we're gonna base it against the US dollar. Okay, and then moving on to a second level, there is a buy and a sell price for each currency pair, right? But obviously, if the size is bigger, if it's 1 million, which is 3 million, the price you're getting is also different, because that also means, in finance terms, the bigger the size, that means the more risk you have, and obviously, price takers or risk takers, you're offering, a different price for each different level of trade that you propose, right?
Gotcha. So let's take the first line as an example.
Yeah.
Just remind me some basic CFA knowledge about foreign exchange, because I forgot them all already. Does it mean in order to buy 1 million of euro using USD, we need to pay 1.0799 million
Yes.
USD? Gotcha.
Yes.
And the ask is in order to sell, is it right? In order to sell 1 million euro?
It's actually different. So the bid is the person that is buying from you. It means that I am willing to pay 1.0799 to buy 1 million euro from you. The ask is that I'm willing to sell euro to you for 1.0801.
Thank you, very clear. I guess this is very close to the database you see every day.
Yeah, this is something that is recorded in our database, and then for us to fine tune our trading, our strategies, and whatever bid and ask spread that we want to spread our clients, we have to base every decision making off data, right? And this is raw data at its purest form over here.
Great. Is your day-to-day work more complex, or is around the same level of complexity to this?
I don't think this is really that close to day-to-day. What we see day-to-day is a refined version, a formatted version of everything like this. This is data at its rawest form. So we have 500,000 rows over here, right? I think day-to-day, when we try to interpret this data, it will only become one line on our screen. Our takeaways from this should only be one line only, as in which time or which pair, what spread. It all leads to an answer to one question that we're asking for any given moment. But then behind that answer, there are 500,000 rows of data that leads to the answer, right? So
yeah, okay, understood. So agent is something that LLM as a brain, but they have memory access. They can write down whatever they think they need to remember and access that information.
Okay.
They also have access to tools, like they can call the weather function, they can call Excel, so they can write into Excel, they can call a SQL database. I think that's the major component of agent. And there are a lot of open source agent framework right now. One of the most credible one is made by Google. So it's called Google Gemini CLI. You can just load it from the terminal of your laptop. So thinking we're using Google agent today, it's not something I create. It's kind of state of the art of the industry agent framework. And the second thing we're going to add is called MCP Excel. Remember, agents should have access to the tools.
Okay.
So if you just call LM, it's a language generation. They will only return you text. But MCP is a protocol. It sets a standard of how agent can communicate with Excel, how agent can communicate with documents. And a lot of smart people already build a really good MCP. I'm not building anything from scratch again. It's all open source, free for people to use.
Okay. So basically, let's the agent read and use Excel.
Yeah. So I just need to initiate this Gemini in my terminal. This is how we add MCP. We went to the setting file, which is a JSON file. Basically, we copy paste this JSON format from this GitHub repo and just replace it here. You see it's initiating and we're using one MCP server. So this is all the tools written by that MCP to edit, read, delete Excel.
Do you have to write the formula yourself?
That's the interesting part. So because we're using Gemini agent as the brain, if it's good enough, you should know what formula you need to write.
Okay.
I want to see bid ask spread throughout the day for each currency pair in 15-minute increments.
Yeah.
Okay, I think if it's fair to give instruction, so it knows they need to write a table in the sheet, right? Or you want to just...
I want to try to figure it out, how to best present that.
How to present it. Well, you reply in a text message in the terminal, or you should write a table.
Exactly.
Okay, Okay, let's do it.
Because this is kind of like what a requested client would tell us.
Okay. And the best practice is to know it's a table. It's a very simple table.
Or you just find a way that you can present your information in an answer that the client wants. Because this is kind of like a realistic question, right? The client might come to us, what are the best times to trade XYZ pair throughout the day? What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. Okay, then let's do it.
But it says it exceeds the size limit. Okay, so what do we do here? We have to delete data. Show me the bid-ask spreads for each currency pair.
Show me bid-ask spread for each currency pair in 15-minute increments.
Yeah, okay.
I wonder what it will generate.
Well, this is a pretty basic task.
I don't know how to do it if I'm not in trading field.
I mean, it also has a learning database, supposedly, right? So it should know how to do it. See, it's constructing the script already. Let's go. Oh, file. Yeah, this is pretty chunk size. I can send you the new one. I think the file is too big.
Okay. Now we only have 1 week of data. But what was your data before? How many weeks?
2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just repeat that question. Show me bid-ask spreads throughout the day, 15-minute increments. Currency pair, size, and in basis points. Write that table into a CSV file and show it to me.
Okay, I have successfully saved the result to a CSV file. Let's see. This one is quick.
Okay, so I didn't understand because it gave me the spreads for each day. I want to see an aggregated result.
But is this spread even correct?
Yeah, that is correct because the spread is essentially ask minus bid and then in basis points. Okay. I want to show it in an aggregate of each day.
Finished.
So it's 96 rows per currency pair, right? Yeah, okay, this is good. So it has size 2. Okay, this is good. I want to know how it calculated the spread basis points.
They're probably doing the right way.
Divided by bid. Okay, so it should not be bid. It should be the mid price.
Why?
Because you are calculating the bid and the spread. So you want to see the difference between the buy price and the sell price. The basis point denominator should be the middle. It should not be on one side. I mean, it's something they should already know.
Because they have
CFA
level 3.
Not level, not CFA. It's just like if you're trying to calculate a mid, it should be against the mid, Let me just do it myself real quick and then, right? So it's essentially the same thing. So right over here, we're essentially trying to figure out what time is best. And then, see, something is off over here. Because the spreads aren't changing throughout the day, so automatically I can already feel that something is wrong over here.
Okay, so let's try this question, task 2. Help me generate spread of GBP of JPY, which is not directly provided in this spreadsheet.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll give you more favor, like write it in CS.
Yeah, okay. It doesn't show how it does it. It doesn't say how it grabs the GBP JPY. You can just ask it before we actually look at the data.
Okay, it knows we have Euro USD, but my script is trying to filter for GBP filter, which resulting in empty data set. Okay, so
it didn't calculate it. So it means that it doesn't know how to do it. Ask them a follow-up question. Are you using ceiling or floor?
Okay, what does it mean?
So that means because our data was in 15 seconds. So it means that anything below the 15-minute mark would ceiling up to 15 minutes. So if a trade happened, if one of the snapshot books was at, let's say, 12:03, it would categorize it as 12:15. But if you're using a floor, it means that 12:03 would categorize it to 12 o'clock. So that will cause discrepancies in data, right? So here, so that's right. That's why our numbers are different. He's using the floor method for the 15-minute intervals. He's rounding the time down to the nearest 15-minute mark.
God.
In reality, I think it should be in ceiling because in an economic environment, people react to news. People react to things that happen across the market. So if something happens at 10:07, for example, like the repercussions will going to be shown at 10:15. You can't go back in time. If you categorize something that happened at 10:07 as something that happened at 10 o'clock, that does not make sense, right? You want to take the ceiling instead of the floor.
That's why it has the discrepancies.
Yeah, that's why it has the discrepancies.
It's more like it doesn't know.
Yeah, but I think that's also something that's different, right? Because you have to specify your parameters. Every single parameter, you have to specify it. If the stuff that we're trying to do gets harder and more complicated, there are a lot of the stuff you just like a human can use simple reasoning, whether they learned it from school, whether from their work experience, etc., etc. or they know that they should ask those parameters. They would know that this is something they should know. They should be able to configure. Moving forward, like this is already a very simple task that we do. Finally, we want to graph it and then see how the line moves, like see how the spreads widen or tighten across the day. We want to see how certain currency pairs moves throughout the day for a given period.
Okay.
Yeah, I think the takeaway from this is that everything that is in numbers is in formulas. It's something that is clearly mathematically defined. We can all outsource this work over to agency models. But I think a lot of the times the details lie in understanding the economic implications behind what we're trying to do so that we know how to fine tune the modifiers or the configurations to actually achieve what we need to get. So like the most basic example over here would be time, right? There's also other stuff. It wouldn't be able to interpret the data and see, okay, this looks something weird or something not. But I think the human value added over here is that we're knowing what we're trying to achieve and what are, as you said earlier, what the questions we need to ask. But it's still definitely very hard.
Yeah. And my assumption is we are able to do the prompt well enough by providing the playbook in a TXT and in the prompt asking it to look at the playbook when answering our question, right? But do you think that's enough? Like just imagine
I don't think it will ever be enough because yes, you can provide however many prompts you can in however many different scenarios you can. But I feel that there will never be enough scenarios. I mean, I guess there would, because you're trying to build up like the human brain experience, right? So I have a veteran for like 40 years in finance. He's seen the economic cycle, march down every single question he's had over the past 40 years. I would say yes, the model will be able to understand the reasoning behind what he did.
I guess ultimately it depends on how good we human being can generalize the experience over 40 years. Thank you, Kevin, for joining us today. Very insightful comment.
Yeah, I know. I think it's really fun. And I'm excited to get my beliefs converted and I will be a believer. Hopefully I can retire.